checked out the LFO, let's move on to the sequencer. Sequencer operates just like the LFO in that any parameters you assign to it, it will modulate based on the settings you have in the sequencer. Let's use our cutoff filter again for this example. So I'm going to right click on my cutoff filter, add modulation, sequencer, sequencer number 1. There are 4 of them. Now my cutoff filter is assigned to the sequencer. Just like on the LFO where you have maximum value at the peak, minimum value at your trough, in the sequencer, maximum values at the top, minimum values at the bottom. So as I play this, you're going to see it's going to go from its maximum value all the way down to its minimum value, and then move on to the next portion of itself, going to the maximum value to the minimum value, and it will reflect that on our cutoff filter. And then it's going to keep on looping until I want it to stop. And notice how I have 8 steps right now. I can adjust this to be as many steps as I want according to this. So let's stick with 4 steps. And then I can adjust where I want the loop to start. So if I want it to go through stages 1 and 2, and then when it gets to 3 and 4, I want it to just keep on repeating 3 and 4. Let's see what that would do. There's a square right here where I can adjust that. There's a square right here where I can also adjust that. So I'm going to do this just to give us a, there we are. And then I'm going to set my loop to start at number 3. Just like your LFO, you can also adjust the speed or the volume. That's the amount of depth for, that you're affecting. You can add randomization in there. Gives it a sense of analog, some noise, more sense of analog. You can delay the amount of time it takes for this to turn on. Took a while to turn on there. The attack, so the parameter will slowly start to engage as time goes on. Let's do a long attack. And then the release, of course, how long it takes for that to turn off. You can adjust the bits, quantize it to be a different value. You can also use a gate to essentially shorten each step. You can also sync this to Pro Tools, just like in your LFO. You can sync it to Pro Tools. Sequencers are fun to use on essentially any parameter. Let me try to adjust not just the cutoff filter, but how about our fine tune? Sequencer number 1. I could choose sequencer number 2. In fact, let's do that. And then look, it changed to sequencer number 2 over here. If I want to get to sequencer number 1, right click, go back to number 1. Right click, let's go on number 2. See, fine tune is following the visual of this.